Hello, my name is Chris, and for my video project, I wanted to talk about speed, displacement, velocity, and acceleration. The formula for speed is distance over time. The unit for speed is meters per second. It is considered a magnitude or scalar quantity. Speed is a measurement of how fast an object moves relative to a reference point. In the US, we mostly think of speed in miles per hour. For example, let's say a girl named Emily is late for Christmas and her family is waiting for her there. She drives 55 miles an hour up to Memphis in order to make it in time for Christmas and see her family. The next thing I wanted to talk about is displacement, and it's basically a change in position, or in other words, the final position minus the initial position. It is usually measured as a straight line length from what is taken to be the initial and the final position. So if we use the example from earlier, the final position is where Emily ended up, in Memphis, and the initial position is where she started, in Texas. If we were to draw a straight line between the two places and mark two dots, the dots would represent the change in position or displacement. But if Emily were to visit and come back to Texas the next day, her displacement would be 0 because her change in the final position and the initial position was 0 meters. The third thing I wanted to talk about is velocity. Basically, velocity is speed plus direction. The formula for velocity is change in displacement over change in time and is usually measured in meters per second. It is a rate of change in an object's position and has a magnitude and direction and is a vector quantity. Okay, so using the same example, let's say Emily gets distracted by something random like a hippo while driving to Memphis. And now she's really late and starts driving at 200 miles an hour, or in other words, 89.4 meters per second in the northeast direction. Maybe she can make it on time for Christmas at this pace. I don't know. The last thing I want to talk about is acceleration. The formula for acceleration is a change in velocity over a change in time, and it's usually measured in meters per second squared. In other words, it is a measurement of change in an object's velocity, and is a vector quantity and has a magnitude and direction. So it wasn't much longer until Emily saw the police, and she immediately accelerated in the opposite direction. Eventually, she was pulled over by the cops, and the reason was because she wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and not because she was going 200 miles per hour. And it only made it worse because she attempted to accelerate in the opposite direction and run away. So in conclusion, all four of these topics, speed, displacement, velocity, and acceleration, are interrelated.